In this section, we'll take a look at your teaching contract. A contract is a legally binding agreement between two parties. It technically supports and protects both parties in the. There are a couple of important issues I think we should take a look at related to your teaching contract. The contract very simply outlines the duties that the teacher will perform in exchange for a certain salary. It also outlines how to get out of the contract. It will typically include how long the contract lasts in years, the exact number of days that the teacher will be on duty during the contract, when the contract starts and ends, salary information, perhaps information about licensure, and of course the needed signature. Does a contract always guarantee you a job? No. There are many ways for a school district to cancel or non-renew your contract. Here are some common reasons to fire a music teacher. You can be fired for incompetence, for insubordination, or moral misconduct. You can be fired for a disability that prevents you from completing your job, such as alcoholism, drug addiction. You can lose your job by being riffed, or any other reason they want to think of and try to defend in court. Let's take a look at some common questions and answers that relate to your teaching contract. This scenario happens frequently. You've already signed a contract, but through some means you found a better job. Can you accept the new job offer? The legal answer is no. The ethical answer is no. However, I have never heard of a music teacher losing their license or being sued for doing this. This scenario is troublesome, especially for first-year teachers. They interview for lots of jobs, any job. One school offers them a job. They need to decide if they should accept that job or wait and see if the other jobs that they've applied for are offered. When this occurs, I usually advise my current student teachers that they could possibly wait a little while if the school that's offered them the job is willing to wait. You can ask for a little time to think over the situation. Meanwhile, you probably should contact the other two schools that you've applied for and find out the status of their search. If, on the other hand, this job offer is fantastic, then I suggest you jump, sign the contract, and then turn down any other job offers that come in. Schools are only required to pay you based on the contractual obligations. Some schools do pay for extra duty performed by music teachers, but they do not have to under the law. The answer to this issue depends on the reasons that the contract wasn't renewed. My best advice is to check with your union if you have one. You can also hire an attorney and demand due process. Due process will ensure that you get a hearing about the non-renewal of your contract. If your contract was not renewed due to some moral misconduct or a reduction in force, you might be better simply looking for another job. Tenured teachers can be fired. Although in my experience, this has been very rare, it is still the school district's legal right to fire you for any of the reasons outlined in their contracts. A strike is a deliberate breach of contract. It is a very painful and traumatic time for a school or a district. Having survived one of these myself here at the University of Hawaii, I strongly urge you to strike. Unless you do not want to stay at that school anyway. Teachers who do not strike will be considered scabs, and scabs are never forgiven. Your life will be hell in that school. The good news is that once a strike is over, normally the provisions of ending the strike include forgiving the breach of contract by those who participated in the strike, and normally some sort of raise or better job conditions for you.